This podcast is rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Some material may not be suitable for children.
Mission to City.
All right, so this is the third episode of this. We didn't think this was going to be 3 episodes, but it is. Surprise! There's a lot of fucking trivia in Star Wars. They're the best, potentially the best trilogy ever made, would you say? I mean, Lord of the Rings is up there.
We can say Lord of the Rings is different. Lord of the Rings has a different place in my head, and I don't know necessarily better or worse, but different.
Yeah, and there's a non-zero. The only people listening to this episode are the people that have listened to the other 2 episodes. So we're just going to continue on with
That's
that.
not true. Not true.
Maybe they're like
true.
Return of
The
the Jedi.
outliers.
fans.
100% not true.
Yeah.
No. I mean, the other episodes, meaning the first 2 parts of the Return of the Jedi.
Oh, right.
Series.
That could be true.
Okay.
Typically, you won't
That
want to pick
is
up
true.
on part 3.
Unless you accidentally clicked on it. So you know what's going on. We're going to trivia. John has more, and then I have a ton of trivia after
Just
that
a
too.
tiny bit more here, and then we'll get to Denny. So getting back to this is Carrie Fisher commenting on her character, and she's just said she said, well, there's a lot of people who don't like my character in these movies, referring to the first 2. They think I'm some kind of space bitch. And it's like, no, I didn't think that.
I never
I
thought
don't know. I mean, I thought she was like a strong
She's
female
badass.
character. I love
Yeah,
it.
dude. The only thought I had was she's badass.
Right.
Honestly, like not
So-
space bitch.
So that's what, and then Marquand said, yeah, I said that happened to coincide exactly with my feelings. He continues. He says, in the last movie, the princess became such a bitch. She really was a drag. It became very boring.
What?
I was sure there was a lot more depth there, and we could use a lot more comedy to turn her into more of a woman. And
What?
Terry
You know
said, oh, yes,
You know what I bet
could just
happened, dude?
pick
I
down.
bet you back in the day, someone called her just a space bitch. I bet you that's where that comes
Yeah,
from.
I don't know,
not
but
like-
I
That's
just,
not what the audience
And
thought.
Marquand wanted to
Come on,
turn her
dude.
into a woman by stripping her down and putting her in her slave outfit with no clothes on. Really? That
so,
was
and later on, Marquand talks more about this, about the costume stuff. He said, Marquand says, quote, I hated the costumes of Empire. I couldn't believe the way Princess Leia was dressed in Cloud City. It was a disgrace. This beautiful girl in this terrible brown and white outfit. He goes on to say,
Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
yeah,
That's
I know,
me
right?
smacking
You
my
slap in your
fucking
head.
forehead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was just a joke. And Marquand says, the interesting about George
so
is that,
far up their own ass.
Yeah. The interesting thing about George, he says, is that he thinks the costumes should be neutral, so you don't really look at them, but you need to look at them if they're going to say something special, like Princess Leia's outfit on Jabba's barge. It's a great costume. It's outrageous to dress like that. I always thought that Carrie was a very sexy girl, so we came up with this thing. Well, she was very embarrassed to try it on the first time, which is not surprising.
It's a made-up universe. None of the same shit applies, dude.
Here's another quote from Carrie, which, again, you can sort of read between the lines to think about the stress she's under. And she says, George had me brought up to San Francisco and showed me a picture of this bathing suit to frighten me into exercise, I think Fisher would recall. He succeeded. The other thing was they didn't want me to have any lines on my body. There can be no wrinkles, she says, they said.
This is the
in
part
those
that I
days,
read. This is in
there
my
was no
section of the
working
book.
out. Yeah, we got to where you are, so this is good.
Okay.
Wrinkles aren't
I think
acceptable anyway.
that's like my last, but you just think about the pressure she's under.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going to have to fit into this and there's no wrinkles.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I have a fine line between people's pressure that are put on them and people's pressure they make up themselves.
Right, but in this case, like
I make up all sorts of pressure on myself.
Right. We're going to
So-
have you expose 90% of your body to millions and millions of people. You better look good.
Right, and I'm
Um,
assuming what happened is some asshole said, yeah, because you're just a space bitch. And that's how that became like a
I have no idea.
stress level. Like, because I'm sorry, like people that are normal people, they wouldn't say that type of thing. Like, it's just not something that you would say out loud, right? Like, even when the tables were turned and like feminism hadn't been there yet, like, I'm sorry, like I just don't see that as being a thing. And if it was, I don't think the people that were doing it ever intended it to be that way. And it's just a shame that like that's how she remembers the stuff. It sucks. It sucks. It's like I had a great time with this fucking movie. I never thought once she was a space bitch.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, no,
Like,
I just noticed, as I was saying, you know, I just noticed in the third one, she became sexualized.
No,
If
I'm
not-
saying like I'm giving the
I don't know, dude.
reaction of
I
an
don't know.
audience
She
member.
didn't have a
Like-
bra on in the first 2 movies, and it was noticeable in multiple
Was it?
scenes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
I guess so. You're right.
Yeah,
And
but
George wanted that.
You know,
That was the
feminism
George
might
thing.
argue that
There
a
are no
bra
bras
is
in
against
space.
feminism.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, that's something.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, that's true.
I
Okay.
get your point. I get
So
your point.
that's
All right,
the
moving
end of
on.
my trivia. that I've got. So
All right,
Yeah,
are you
John,
guys ready
come
to
on, John.
listen to me?
No, because now I've got to go like help my wife.
No, that's the transition
Right.
I'm going to use. Are you
Oh,
guys
okay. Well,
ready
let
to
me
listen to
interrupt.
me? And then we're going
No.
to edit to whatever it needs to be after that. If this
Okay.
doesn't end up working out, so we need to cut
You
this
certainly
episode
don't want to listen
close.
to me. That's for sure.
Yeah. So if we re-record, we might have to, due to personal things, record later. So our voices are going to sound different on the other commentary track, but that's going to happen either way. So if
That's
this is
fine.
happening,
Love it.
we're enjoy the next episode.
Yeah, I appreciate you listening, and I thank John and Denny for bearing with me, and I also thank the audience for bearing with me. And I'm not
Oh,
always in my
stop
right.
apologizing.
Bearing
No,
with
no,
me.
I'm apologizing in a sense because I know full well that like sometimes I get out of control. So I appreciate
Don't
it.
worry. Denny edits
You're
it to make you sound a
hilarious,
lot better
TC.
anyway, so don't
You're
worry.
Right,
hilarious,
right. So-
TC.
My point is that in life I'm
Every
worse.
time.
So like I'm aware. Fuck you.
Denny, he's our star now. Don't
Oh my
don't
God.
antagonize
He's the only
him.
person people like, John. Why?
I know. Don't antagonize. We got a
You guys
Han
have
Solo. We got a
fact-finding
Harrison
every
Ford
fucking time.
situation
You're not
here.
thinking about everyone else. You know, we got to get the facts. Yeah, what if people's opinions?
So let's plan on 6 and see
Yeah,
how we're feeling at
let's-
6.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Let's see
that
how we're
sounds good.
doing. All right.
Okay. This is already going to be a lot. Yeah, we have another episode here.
That sounds good.
All right, give us a text, dude. Give us a text. And now we just jumped into the future 4 months.
Jeez, 4 months.
Isn't that crazy? We just did that
It's nuts.
little sandwich there where we went back in time. That was fun. Isn't it fun to time travel?
Wow,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool how that worked.
It felt cool to
That's
be
right.
young again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My eyes worked back then. It was awesome.
My hair was mostly brown then. That was good. I'm actually much happier right now than I was 4 months ago. I don't know how you guys feel.
I know. It was a great day.
Oh,
I was-
man.
you know what? I like watched like press conferences the last 2 days. I
Yeah,
was
me
so
too.
happy. Yeah.
I was just like starving for news, and I was like, anybody talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually really cool.
Tearing up watching freaking not Lady Gaga. Who was it?
Yeah, it was Lady Gaga.
Katy
She was
Perry.
national anthem.
Katy Perry
She
with the freaking
fucking
fireworks and
nailed
shit.
Oh,
Dude.
I was crying. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah,
I
it was
loved
awesome.
She that was like her singing at her finest. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Whole thing was pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, just knowing that son of a never mind.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You know?
We haven't really ever gone away from
Yeah, it's all
shutting
good.
out.
We're gonna talk about movies.
That's
Let's
right.
talk about this movie.
Guys, do you
this
even
thing.
remember what this movie was about? It was 4 months ago and change that we watched it. I really honestly don't even know
I don't remember.
if the Ewoks won in the end.
Yeah, I think that we didn't get into all the sound details. I think we're gonna remember our sound guy that we love so much. That's probably where you got some notes. I
Oh,
bet.
yeah. And I haven't even gone over my notes at all because I'm
Where
unprepared.
were you storing them for 4 months? Were they just sitting on your desk?
They're on my my nice
Oh.
little Surface, my Microsoft Surface, which don't ever buy one if you get the chance. They're a terrible piece of
Okay.
hardware right here.
Well, that's a great little ad for them, huh?
Yeah.
Don't buy this. It sucks.
Yeah,
Cool.
Microsoft's
I wonder
not
why we're
giving us
not getting
cash
paid
anytime
advertising
soon.
here. We just don't get the
Right.
hang of it. We just can't quite.
People
Can't
come to
quite
us
do
for
it.
our honest reviews, and we can't. It goes in movies and electronic
And
hardware
products, and
Yeah.
they are. It sucks, and don't buy it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a pain in the ass, and I have to
shit.
use it every week.
Just get VS Code and use it Markdown. You know, just do some nice notes there. Just a
Hmm.
little techie.
That was
hip-
highly
hip-
nerd speak.
I don't even know
I
what
had
that
no
means.
idea what you're talking about. Oh fuck! I know what Markdown is. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. VS Code's a really lightweight editor. It's pretty cool. It's
Oh,
it's actually
I'll get
by
right on that, John.
Microsoft, but it's really nice. It's
Oh,
a,
it's
it's
cool,
a
is
really
it?
lightweight text editor.
It's cool.
It's really cool.
Use the
it's,
word
it's
cool?
what I do all my coding in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
Okay.
Yeah, John approved. Nerd
Jenny,
approved.
that face.
This
Jenny, the
episode,
face you're
I know,
making right
goddamn
now.
it. This episode
He's
brought
like,
to
oh,
you
is it
by
cool? Yeah, I'm
VS
sure it's
Code.
great.
It's
Yeah,
cool. Is
sure.
it cool, John?
Yeah,
Yes,
is
it's
it cool,
cool.
John?
Now
It's
you're
cool.
gonna make me feel bad.
All right, let's get to the
God damn
movie.
it. Goddamn
John,
it.
did you
You're
have
a
any
bully.
trivia left
Denny,
from the last one?
You're a bully, Denny. If I did, it's gone. I have no idea where I put it. I have no little surface to drag out and bitch about.
Ah,
I don't
right.
have anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
enough.
my high tech toy. You didn't have very good, but it's all my notes on it.
So this trivia is going to be out of context, and it might be hard to read because my handwriting is terrible. And at least I had, previous episodes I had the benefit of writing the words recently, but I'm so far off now that it's going to be a struggle. to read some of
This
this shit.
might
So,
not be much of an episode then. I know, we can, hopefully we just wrap it up then, and we
F
covered a
that,
lot of
John.
trivia.
F that. We're doing all the trivia.
Hey, it's our first day back. Let's just fucking wrap it up. Huh?
Well, it was a movie and we saw it, and
We got 24,
Yeah,
we got 34 minutes, John. We're going to use it. Here we go.
Yeah, it was good. We had. Anyway, sorry.
what do you got?
Go
What do
on.
you got?
Oh, God.
this is fun.
All right, here we go. This will be a fun thing where I all right. Lucas, digital characters are just as fake as the made-up puppets and people in suits in the original. Okay, I remember this point.
Okay.
We might have talked about this before. When he sees a puppet on screen, he knows it's fake. That's what he
Right.
thinks. That's fake. I can see that's a puppet. That's not real. CG character, he looks at it and goes, that's fake. CG character, that's not real. He thinks
Right.
they're the exact same thing.
Good.
He
Okay.
sees them
okay.
as the same. But I think people like us, when you see a puppet, you're at least like, that's real, as opposed to nothing is
Right.
there, you know?
Oh, well, I think it varies. I mean, like, you look at it, it sort of depends how you do it and what the character is and how it, like, look at Gollum from Lord of the Rings, we'll get to that one, but that worked. That worked really well.
Does it
I
work
thought.
anymore, though? We just rewatched it over the Christmas break.
Oh, really? Maybe not so much when
It's
you
still
revisit
pretty
it.
good, but it's not perfect, and it's, I don't know.
Well, I know you're able to like stand up from your couch and go, "That's not real."
We did that for 12 hours, me and Naomi, just standing and
Yeah,
pointing at the
that's
TV.
right.
It's not real.
That's not that. Wait,
Yeah.
that Gollum's not real, right? Yeah, same as last scene. What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah,
Well, it's CG, so it's not real.
it's like the Admiral Tarkin from Rogue Squadron, where you're like, "Hey, he's dead." That's not real. Anyway. So yeah. Anyway, so George is saying whether it's he knows what I don't get that. So yeah, of course they're not real. We know that. Most people know
Right.
that. I don't get it.
He thinks so. I mean, it's basically just him saying he thinks that CG and like models and puppets are the exact same, but CG is better because you can make bigger cities in CG than you can with models. And he doesn't think there's any difference at all. He just thinks CG lets you put more on the screen, and both things are fake, so CG is better. That's his point of view.
They all have their pluses and minuses, I think, right? I mean, nowadays it's going to be mostly CG, and as the compute power gets better and better and better, and sort of it will get harder and harder to distinguish it from reality. I think just as the systems evolve, but I don't know, man. I mean, the models, what they did with Star Wars is like timeless. What they did, it seems the way. I mean, looking at the retouched versions. I don't know, or 2001 where it was a lot of models and it looks fantastic. So
Yeah.
But
I think people in like
I don't
100
know.
years will look back at the newer Star Wars and be like, well, the older ones were better. Why did they do the newer ones like this?
yeah.
Mm.
So
You think
Yeah.
they'll do that? I don't know. Once the people get used to not seeing the old ones,
Well, in 100 years, people won't be like wowed by the spectacle of the newness of the new ones. I think the
yeah,
older
but we
ones.
don't
yeah.
know how far that's going to go. It
who
could
knows
be
in 100
completely
years
wild.
if we're here,
You
and then
know?
maybe if anybody's thinking
If we're
about Star
here,
Wars at
right.
all.
I mean, we're
We're
not going to
here
be
for
here.
6 more months. The pandemic
sure.
might get us all.
I meant
you know?
people
Yeah.
in general. Yeah, I'm holding
Yeah.
out some hope from that anti-aging treatment. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
what are
who
you
knows
doing?
where it all goes? You know.
You're doing treatment there, John?
No, I'm hoping when when they get it and I'm like 80 and then I take it and then I get to revert back to being 30. That's
You just rub
kinda
some
what I'm
lotion
hoping.
in your eyeballs, John, and it'll rejuvenate them, and maybe you won't need the glasses so much anymore.
Oh, that would be really nice. And put
Just
some
pour
salt in there.
alcohol in it. I heard that
alcohol.
works.
That's what I heard. You sort of shock them back to their youth. They're
Yeah,
like,
right.
"Ah, I'm
Right.
young
Just
again."
melt them away
Right.
and back to original.
Good, because they
Tightens the skin on the eyeball.
I'd be, it's like
Yeah,
it's like
it's
they
good.
went off a cliff too. It wasn't gradual. It's just like one day I woke up and they don't work.
Look, if
Oh,
you
that's
can't
scary.
see, then you can't even
Yeah,
tell.
apparently that's how it happens. It's like it's just
Oh, no.
Oh, that's great news. Positivity.
something else to look
you
forward
know?
to.
Yeah, something else. Exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So even the effects guy, even the effects dude, like CG more, he says
Oh.
it's just less problems and you have more control. So
That makes sense. I mean, again,
can
you
see that.
just whip it up, and if it's like, oh no, I'm going to change the color, I'm going to change the shape, you just click things,
Yeah.
and
Right.
stuff changes, and so you have a whole lot more power, and you can be a whole lot more creative. And I don't know, is it nostalgia or what? Just thinking of building something physical, there's something pretty cool about that idea, but you know,
I mean,
don't
what I
know
think it is
that's just
they haven't mastered CG in like
Yeah.
the more. Well, that's not true. If you use CG in a high budget movie very sparsely and hide it, then it can look real. But if you put it on the screen and make the entire movie CG, then the lighting is off, everything is too shiny, the definition is too low. They don't look like they're in the scene.
I know. Like Rogue Squadron was like where they really tried. They poured a lot of money into making a human look human.
Yep.
And it was digital, and you could tell it was pretty. It was still weird. It would have been better if they had not tried so hard, or they like put it like. Right, that was my argument for that movie, that they should have made it like there was interference in the transmission. So
that would have been smart,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. You're right. There's still something uncanny about it when you look at it. It doesn't quite work. But
they mixed this movie out of order due to necessity. They were mixing it the entire time, and they mixed it as the shots came in. They mixed it in the new THX facility, which is located in San Rafael. They built it. I don't know if it was for this movie, but it might have been for this movie, even if it wasn't the same, production company. I don't know who owns THX. TC, do you have?
I don't know.
No, not off the top of my head.
But that facility is still there, and it's used for a lot of movies. It was a expensive facility. Oh, here we go. Speeder chase equals front and back views, steady cam walking, 1 frame a second. Oh, okay, I know what this one is. So the scenes where you kind of have a behind the speed race, speeder. Is it called a speeder?
Speeder bikes
in the Ewoks forest, Endor forest. The shots where he's either the speeder bike is coming straight towards the camera or you're following the speeder was a guy with a Steadicam on his chest walking down the forest, and the camera was going 1 frame a second. And you can actually see they had string strung between the trees in this redwood forest to let him know where the camera should be. Because the ground wasn't level, but they wanted the camera to stay straight.
And those shots are so amazing. That whole, I mean, we talked about it before, that whole.
That seems the best part of the movie, I think.
Yeah, they still hold up really well. They're really fantastic. It's just another great set of action shots of like, especially like them running into trees and things like that. Well, the way they did it, it's pretty cool. By the way, THX, started by George Lucas.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he threw some money at it. Made some sweet sound facility. Thanks,
God
George.
damn him.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
I gotta just making fun of George here. George said, as the movie was not even halfway over, as we get into the last reels. Like, no, George, it isn't even half over, George. You don't even know you're on a movie.
Oh, this was the commentary track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one says Grandma Vodka equals Ewok language. I don't know what that means.
Just a trip down Denny's mind, everybody.
Yeah, right. The rabbit hole that is his mind. That's great.
Grandma's vodka Ewok language. Well, let me just type that into Google and see what happens. This works actually. This says sound, and look, I had to put on the fucking glasses. Sound designer Ben Burt says Ewokese was created over time and across continents with help from Grandma Vodka.
Grandma Vodka. So my note was right.
Grandma Vodka.
Yeah. Who's Grandma Vodka?
I have no idea.
Just a friendly way of referring to vodka?
Yeah. You got Papa Bourbon and Grandma Vodka
Papa
over
Bourbon
here.
and Grandma Vodka. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, that sounds like a mixture of fun.
Bert says 85% of the dialogue is done in ADR.
Wait, no, I got it.
Oh, really?
The sound designer then sought out subjects who would recite folk tales in their native language. One, a refugee from Inner Mongolia, was in her 70s. She had been really living in the wilderness by comparative standards just all her life, he recalled. And she had just recently come over and immigrated and didn't speak any English. She would come in and speak for us. And if she had a little vodka, she was happy to do so, which earned her the nickname Grandma Vodka from the designer and his team. And eventually, the woman's voice became the seed for the Ewok language. This is an MTV News article.
Wow. First time for that, probably.
I know, right? Tammy Katzkoff from 2013. But there you go.
Huh. Yeah, just to finish the thought on the speeder bikes, if you want to see it, you can frame by frame the speeder bike scene and look to the left if they're coming at you and to the right if they're going away from you, and you can see the string along the trees.
Wow.
So you can. They didn't take it out because they couldn't.
But you'd have to slow it. It's not obvious by any means.
No, not
even
at all.
Like
we had a hard time finding it, even with the big screen and the frame by frame. Ben Burt is in this movie.
What? Our hero?
Our hero.
Whoa.
He has
hero.
one line and he gets killed.
Nice.
Yeah, when the rebel base on Endor gets like the doors open for the first time, when they finally break into the main doors, he's the one guard there that turns around and he goes freeze, but then he gets shot by I think Han Solo or something, and then he falls backwards over a railing.
Oh, right. Okay, I remember that. I actually
Nice.
remember that part.
And he
Yes.
gave himself a Wilhelm scream.
Awesome.
He's the sound guy who gave himself a Wilhelm scream. So that's pretty
That's
funny.
pretty cool. Such an inside nerdy joke.
That's cool. There he is. I'm looking at him here. He's all like got the little cap on. He's all dressed in black. Way to go, man.
Cap.
So this is another language thing. The Kenyan language was spoken by Lando's co-pilot. Who's Lando's co-pilot? Oh, the fish,
weird,
the little
like,
fish guy.
Yeah, he had like
With the gills or
like,
something?
sort of. Yeah, he had the strange sort of like half fish face.
Yeah.
Sort of.
So that's
Ooh,
that's
fish
actual
face.
words in Kenya. And when people in Kenya watch this movie, they flipped out
Ah.
because they're just like,
Oh,
"Oh my
nice.
god,
That's
this guy's
cool.
speaking in Kenyan." It'd be weird,
Oh.
right? If the entire movie was in English with subtitles, and then all of a sudden they start speaking your language.
Totally weird. Yeah, totally flipping out. That would be really cool.
Yeah. That redwood forest was cut down shortly after.
Oh,
It was a part
geez.
of their schedule. So what they got to do is they found a section of that forest they were going to log anyway. I don't know why. I assume for not good reasons, but they did. But they got permits because of that to use real explosives in all those trees. So during that last battle scene,
Oh.
all those explosives are real happening in the forest because they just blew the shit out of the trees because they were going
Oh.
to take them
Because it
away
was
anyway.
allowed.
God,
'cause it was
damn,
about to
like
get
when are
plowed
you going to
anyway.
get to do that again, right?
Never.
Wow.
Not soon, probably.
You'd have people
Hopefully.
chaining themselves to the fucking trunk at this point. Yeah.
And then Lucas would be like, removing them from set.
Yeah.
No, he'd just be blowing the shit up anyways, and then painting them out in CG later.
The lightning at the end where the Emperor is like shocking Luke,
Mhm.
that was all hand animated,
Oh, nice.
frame by
Like
frame,
cartoon
Okay.
drawn.
cartoon
Damn.
drawn.
Man, what is that like then? What do you get like a magnifying glass and you're like down there?
I have no
just,
fucking
like-
clue.
No idea. Once
No
they mention
idea.
that though, you can kind of look at it and it looks a little bit like Fantasia or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. That was we got no idea for the listeners. No clue.
No
Look
idea.
it up and figure it
then,
out.
like
Let us know.
that's like all like how it's like going over Luke and outlining his skeleton and things
Yeah.
like that. Like that's all like hand drawn.
All hand drawn, yeah.
Wow, cool.
They had a scale for thickness and length to stay consistent at the different length shots. What does that mean?
Denny.
See, if this was like 4 months ago, I would have known what that meant.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. Naturally.
Oh, it was for the lightning. This is for the lightning. So there's a bunch of
Oh.
different shots when he was getting shocked, and they wanted the lightning to stay consistent.
Right. So they had to like they,
So
they had to figure
scale
out
it
like
depending on where the lightning would
'cause
be.
depending on how close or how far were you
Right.
and what was the angle. So you had to make sure that it was always consistent so it didn't look weird all of a
Yes.
sudden because all of a sudden they got like the line got thick or something.
Yeah. Why is the lightning
Ah.
getting fatter when we go to this other shot? That doesn't look
Yeah,
very
I
good.
see. Right. Or it doesn't look like appropriately smaller than it was when you were close. You like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got to like account for the distance. I see.
Hmm.
Hayden is in the ending. Yeah.
Hayden Christian.
I love for the viewer,
That's
our
not
listeners
trivia.
out there. You can't be viewers. Just watching Denny think about his notes that he wrote.
I know, it is- it
might be
is
the best
fun.
part of this whole
It
podcast.
is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Jabba was 4 tons of clay.
Really?
That's a lot of clay.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
guys ever seen pictures? Did we talk about how Jabba was operated?
I think you did.
I think I might have.
but
Okay.
but you can go on it.
There are pictures you can check out. The that hardcover book I got that John recommended has diagrams of the people working it. I think there were like 4 people inside. They were underneath like that wooden platform that he was in. It's pretty nuts. There's pictures. Just look it up. It's pretty crazy.
Those books, by the way, it's just while you're mentioning them. So that's the making of Star Wars. There's 3 of them. That's J.W. Rinsler. So we mentioned that a lot all throughout this podcast.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic books for all 3 of these films.
The audiobook and the hardcover is both worth getting.
Yeah.
Nice.
You mean the Kindle? You mean the Yeah.
Kindle. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rancor was filmed at high speed. It was a high speed puppet. They called it the opposite of stop motion.
So go motion, huh? So
Go
what
motion.
does that mean? So you have it if you film it at high speed, I guess,
and you play it
but then
back at
you
a
still-
normal rate, it seems slower. So if you do
Slow.
anything, it seems like it's bigger because it's moving in like slow
okay, I
motion.
see.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool. I guess I never even heard of that.
it's a good trick. Yeah, I haven't heard of it
Yeah.
either. Carrie Fisher hated this movie. She had no lines, and she hated the slug, which is what she called Jabba the Hutt.
Good, she should. Yeah.
That's funny.
They were going to train her how to fight. They were going to give her more lines, but then they put her in the bikini and they dropped the fight and they dropped most of her lines. So she was just like, I hate this movie. This movie sucks.
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
She
rough.
didn't have a lot. She didn't have a lot to do other than be slave Leia.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't blame her too much for that.
The Ewoks in their costumes would just fall over all the time because it was hard to maneuver and they were in the forest. So some minor scrapes and injuries there. Warwick Davis, who plays, what's the name of the Ewok? Wicket.
Oh, I don't
Plays
know.
Wicket.
Wicket. That's
Wicket's
right.
the main one that befriends Princess Leia in the beginning.
Yeah.
He was a 12-year-old kid or something. He was like a young kid when he filmed this movie. His grandmother heard it on the radio. They had like a casting call for little people, and his grandmother called in, and they were already filming when he was cast, and they were using the guy who was in R2D2's costume as the main guy because he's kind of like the little person that they had doing most of the stuff there, but he couldn't act like a little kid or anything. Like he was just bad at being in the Ewok costume. So as soon as I got Warwick Davis in it, he brought all that cute little teddy bear movement with him. It was just like the way he did it. So
Wow.
he wasn't
That's
directed
nice.
at all. It was just like they found him and he could do that. So they put him as like the lead Ewok in the movie.
That's crazy.
He's done so much, man. He
Yes.
was like in the Leprechaun film series. He was in like the Harry Potter films because he was
Yep.
Professor Flitwick.
He was in Willow.
Yeah, Willow.
He had the
Yeah, he's
reality
done-
TV show with the guy that is mad at the Golden Globes every year.
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty good show. I mean, he's
Good
so
old
famous.
Ricky.
Explosion models, 3 to 5 feet tall, bigger than the stop motion models.
You
I
mean
don't know.
models that were going to be blown up were bigger?
Yes. That's what I said 4 months ago, and I believe myself. I don't know why I would lie to myself, so I think that's right.
It's kind of a bit of an archaeological exercise here. Kind of like
Time travel's hard on the brain, man. It's
okay.
Yeah, it
Back
is.
then, Denny might have been thinking this. We'll never know.
they filmed all the explosions on the ILM roof. That good trivia?
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's decent enough.
I've lost my bar for good trivia. It never was that
no,
good anyway. but
We're also at the tail end where you're just reading off a list. This is common for us. It's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, right. It's like I already feel tired,
Yeah.
the Emperor, the guy who plays the Emperor in this movie, said, quote, why should he resist when talking about, or why should he resist and, quote, you can keep on painting, is what he thinks about what George Lucas should be able to do in terms of re-editing these movies over and over again. So the Emperor is evil. The actor is
The
also
Emperor
evil.
approves. I
Yeah.
see.
The Emperor.
Cheech and Chong presented the best special effects, best visual effects Oscar to these guys.
God, that's sort of demoralizing,
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
They must have been
I don't
big
know.
back in the mid 80s.
Maybe,
yeah,
I don't know,
it's
but,
probably they were in their prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up in Smoke.
guess.
It must have
You know?
come out like right before this.
Right, right.
I
Maybe
guess
before.
I
maybe,
guess, yeah.
but I just, yeah, okay. It's all right.
Different Yoda materials, mechanics, same mold. That's why it doesn't look as good in this one, I guess. At least I didn't think it
What?
looked as good.
Oh, they had to like rebuild Yoda.
They rebuilt Yoda and they used different materials and mechanics, but they used
Oh,
the
yeah.
same mold.
How could
like
you
the
make
same,
it the same? It's not the same. It's
Yeah.
totally different. Yeah.
But like the mold was the same, but they put different shit in the mold.
Got it.
Oh,
I don't know why they would do that.
Maybe it broke.
Maybe it was more flexible
Trying
or
to make
something.
it better. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
You think he looks worse in this one than Empire?
Yeah, I think the puppeting, I think it was worse. I don't know.
Oh,
He looked it looked not very real. He didn't have any weight when he was like hopping up onto bed and stuff. And I felt like he had some weight in Empire Strikes Back.
Maybe that's why they changed it. Who knows?
Yeah.
I didn't notice it, to be honest. So I'm sure most people didn't.
yeah, I
You
don't
know?
think I did either.
I don't know what this means. Rancor cutouts on set because the model broke. Yeah, is that good? No, it's
Sure.
probably not good.
Yep.
So George Lucas created ILM, but during this
Mhm.
movie, it became, a multi-movie industry, and E.T. and Poltergeist were going on at the same time as this one, so they had to share resources between this one, E.T., and Poltergeist.
Okay.
Jabba's ship was one of the largest on-location sets ever created. It was in the middle of the desert, 150 feet long and 65 feet high.
Damn.
There's pictures in the book of the crew that were there to build it and to shoot at the same time. It was like 500 people probably.
Damn.
Insane.
In the freaking desert.
In the desert. Do we talk about the Sarlacc pit injuries?
Not
I
the
don't think
injuries.
so.
No. I remember, I think we talked about how difficult it was to build that thing and how it was a mess, but not the injuries.
Yeah, so this will be, let me see if it didn't blow up set, salvage lumber. All right, so I'll go really quick because we're running out of time. They didn't blow up the set, that desert set. They salvaged the lumber for costs because they needed to keep it within budget. Warwick Davis happened because of a bad chili dog, so I was wrong there. So I wasn't totally right. The guy who plays C-3PO, I'm sorry, I can't remember or R2-D2, I can't remember his name. He had a bad chili dog one day, had to step out. They threw Warwick Davis into the Wicket outfit, and he did it better and therefore took over the role. That was how.
Oh,
wow.
shit.
Wow.
That sucks.
Chewie had to be careful in Bigfoot country. We're talking Northern California here, and you got a Bigfoot walking around. Literally, he had to be careful.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Some
It's
freaking
Ed
Northern
Sheeran.
California redneck was shooting.
Yeah.
What's his Peter Mayhew. I fucking got him.
Son of a bitch, look at that fucking run.
Oh, I just never. That's just a connection and a juxtaposition there that I never have made before.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sure there was
really,
one
really
day
awesome.
they drove to Northern California with Chewie, and he got out, and they're like, "Oh fuck, guys! Oh fuck, guys!"
Yeah, right.
You gotta be
that's
careful.
that's gonna really rile up some people if we're not careful.
Yeah.
Did you guys hire security or what? Fuck.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Chewie's double got set on fire. Billy D. Williams got burned. And if you look up in the hardcover book, page 195, I was supposed to bring it with me because I just started jotting down page numbers for this last stuff. The Sarlacc pit, there was a ton of injuries. All the stunt guys, it was just like a 40-foot fall onto pads through that hole. And you could like break stuff on the hole on the way down because it was a fucking hole. And the pads were underneath, and you get sand. Like people got sand in their eyes and their mouths. They swallowed sand, inhaled sand.
Oh, wow.
They broke their arms, legs, wrists, everything. And it became, so there's, Princess Leia talks about it, or Carrie Fisher, about how all the stunt guys would try to one-up each other, and they would go and try to do like a sweet stunt to get in the movie, and they
double
break their
twist.
legs. Yeah, they break their legs, and then they like come out and be like, "Was that good?" And everyone, like all the stunt guys were clapping. They're like, "What? Me next, me next!" And then like they went in and they broke their arm. And when they went back to the hotel, all these stunt guys had like casts on, sitting by the pool, drinking, talking about how like they got paid leave after that.
Yeah.
So it's just like you do
Awesome.
one stunt, you break your leg, and now you're in a Star Wars movie, and you're a good stunt man, and you just drink by
And
the
you're
pool.
set for a while, and you got a great story to
Yeah.
tell.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that was it. Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. We're back
All
to
right.
normal now. We're gonna do one a week, and next week we're doing a bonus episode. It's Akira. We're doing Akira. We're taking a break.
Bonus.
Bonus.
Oh, boy.
Akira.
I don't miss that shit.
Okay.
All right. Next
Mission
week, guys.
250.
Akira.
Akira next week.
Sweet. Later, dudes.
Welcome
Yeah,
back,
take care, everybody. Good to hear you, Timmy.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Oh, Timmy was nice. Timmy was
I
nice.
miss you guys.
Yeah, all right, boy.
Stop 'em. From